Alright, man, before we get started, I know you guys are checking out my dependable t-shirt, man. My dependable shirt. This is one of the many designs that we have at the Sealy Strategic Merch Shop. Make sure you guys check out the link below. The link will be in the description below to check out the Sealy Strategic Merch Shop so you guys can show the channel support and show your two-way support with your two-way apparel. I'm gonna put a nice picture of it on the screen so you guys can see what it looks like front and back. But anyways, let's get on to the topic. So one of the 5 myths that people have about owning guns or carrying a gun for self-defense is that you have to be an expert shooter. They think you have to be like a trained professional. People think that you have to be a trained killer. You know what I'm saying? They think that you got to go to the range and shoot like tens of thousands of rounds every weekend to carry a gun for self-defense. And I'm here to tell you, no, that's not true. That's not true, man. You don't need to be an expert. You don't need to be a professional shooter. All you need to be is proficient. You just need to be a proficient, law-abiding citizen that knows how to handle a gun, knows how to fire a gun, and know how to hit the target. You don't have to be a dead shot. You don't gotta be a bullseye, man. You don't gotta be an expert sharpshooter. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to. You just have to know how to handle a firearm safely, how to use it, and how to shoot it. Basic. Just be able to hit a target, a human-sized target, without hitting innocent bystanders. And you don't have to go to the range every weekend and shoot thousands upon thousands of rounds to be that person. If you can go to the range, whether it's just once a month, once every 2 months, once every 3 months, once every 6 months, if that's all you got, if that's all you can, if that's the only time that you have, if that's the only thing that you can afford to go to the range once every 3 months, once every 6 months, if that's all you can afford, if that's all you have time for, if that's all your job and your family allows for you to go to the range, then that's fine. When you go to the range, whether once a month or once every 3 months, once every 6 months, once you go to the range, make sure that you train. Make sure that you use that little bit of time to be proficient. All you have to do is just know how to aim your gun, how to point it, squeeze the trigger, and hit the target. That's all you gotta do. You don't have to make small groups like this. You ain't gotta make small 2-inch groups. You know what I'm saying? That's not what I'm saying. But if you can, then that's even better. Don't get it twisted. Don't get it misconstrued, thinking that you have to be an expert shooter, man. Don't think you gotta be, you know what I'm saying? Don't think you gotta be like homeboy for T-Rex Arms or those other guys, you know what I'm saying? That's all they do is they train 24/7. I'm not saying, hey, if you can train like that and be as good as that, then that's cool. Fine, do what you gotta do. But don't think that you have to be an expert shooter. Don't think that you need to go and spend thousands of dollars in ammunition to be a professional expert sharpshooter. Don't believe that, man. If all you can afford to spend or use on the range, if you can only shoot 1,000 rounds every range section, shoot 1,000 rounds. If you can only afford to shoot 500 rounds, shoot 500 rounds. If you can only afford to shoot 200 rounds, shoot 200. If you can only spare a box of 50, shoot 50 rounds. But get those repetitions and make that little training session worth your while. Learning the basics, learning how to draw your weapon, learning how to handle your weapon, learning how to aim and shoot your weapon and hit a human-sized target. That's all you got to do. You do not have to be an expert. You do not have to be a professional shooter, and you do not have to spend thousands of dollars every weekend on the range to become an expert shooter to carry a gun. You don't. Just go to the range whenever you can and practice and practice. And when you can't go to the range, what you can do is do a whole lot of dry fire. Dry fire costs you zero, zip, zero, nada, zilch. That's how much it costs you to dry fire. So you can dry fire all day. Practice all the movements you need at home and dry fire and do what you got to do. So when you go to the range, and if you, like I said, if you only got a box of 50 you can afford to waste, then shoot that box of 50 to your best of your ability. Practice everything that you practice dry, practice live with those 50 rounds. So there's no excuse. Don't get this thing out your head that you have to be an expert shooter. Get this thing out your head that you gotta be a professional. Get this thing out your head that you gotta be law enforcement or military to carry a gun or own guns or want guns. That's not true. Anybody, any red blood American citizen that wants to have a gun should have a gun. Every red-blooded American citizen, if you want to carry a gun for self-defense, you should be able to carry a gun for self-defense. That's just my belief. That's just my thoughts. So get it out your head. Myth number 1, that you need to be an expert and a professional shooter to carry a gun or want guns. Get that out of your head. Let's get on to number 2. All right, so the number 2 myth that a lot of people think is that they think that it's super hard to get your concealed carry license. I'm glad that a lot of states are turning to constitutional carry, so it just makes it easier for law-abiding citizens to carry guns to protect themselves. But if you live in a state where you have to have a concealed handgun license, it's not that hard. It's really not that hard. From what I remember back in the days, many moons ago, when I first got my concealed license for the state of Texas, you had to take a state certified handgun class. Once you take that class and you graduate that class, you have to take that handgun course. Once you take that course and you get your certificate, then you have to go down to your local sheriff, get your fingerprints done, and then you have to get a passport photo, and then you have to mail in. And I think the course was around $130 for the course, for the handgun course, and then you have to get your passport photos, and then you have to get your fingerprints, and I think the fingerprints and the passport photos was no more than like $50 to $60. It was a long time ago. I really don't remember, but I know it was under like $100. It wasn't a lot of money. And once you do that, you put all that stuff in the packet and you mail it off to San Antonio, and then you wait. And I think I waited like about a month, and then I got a random letter in the mail, and it was my concealed handgun license. And I was like, oh man, I forgot about this. I had my concealed carry license. And in the state of Colorado, it's even easier because I literally just called and made an appointment at the local sheriff department. I went in, I paid, I think it was like $130 if you're paying in credit card, and if you're paying in cash, it was like $115 or something like that. It was some type of discount if you're paying cash or whatever. And then I went to the back, I did my fingerprints, I took my pictures, I paid, and I think the whole process took like less than 45 minutes. And 2 to 3 weeks later, I had my concealed carry license for Colorado in the mail. So it's not that hard. Mind you, yes, I'm military, so I didn't have, because I'm active duty military, I didn't have to do the handgun course or whatever. But still, the handgun course is not that expensive. It's gonna run you anywhere from 80 to like $130 for the handgun courses. So go ahead, do your handgun safety courses, get your certification, and get your concealed carry license, because it's not that hard. All it is just a little bit of time, and that's it. It's not that hard, man. Let's go ahead and debunk that it's hard to get your handgun license. That's bullcrap. It's not that hard. Let's go on to the next one. Another myth that people have with guns is that you don't need guns. You don't need a gun to protect yourself. You don't need a gun to protect your family, to protect your home. You don't need a gun. You have the police. Well, my thing about that is that the police are never there when you're actually being assaulted, when you're actually being robbed, when you're actually held at gunpoint. The police is not there. So if you believe that you don't need a gun because the police is gonna save you, you know what I'm saying? That's a weird way of thinking, because I don't understand, for the life of me, I can't understand why anyone would choose to be a victim. Why would you choose to be a victim? You know what I'm saying? No, I don't believe in guns. I'm gonna depend on the police. The police is gonna do their job, and they're gonna show up 11 minutes and 12 seconds later to help me. I mean, if you want to depend on the police to protect yourself, to protect your family, to protect your home, to protect your life, if you want to depend on the police to show up to save you, then that's your belief. That's your right. You have the right to be a victim. If you choose to be a victim, you have the right to be a victim. I will not infringe in your right to be a victim. You can be a victim all you want, but don't infringe in my rights and everybody else who's like me, who believes in guns and who want guns to protect themselves and protect their families. Don't infringe in our rights to carry a gun. Don't infringe in our rights to have a gun for self-protection. Don't infringe in our rights to have guns to protect our families and our homes. If you want to be a victim, you can be a victim. be my guest. You can wait for the police. But I refuse to be a victim in this great United States of America. Next question. All right, so another myth that people have is that only bad people and the police have guns. I know it sounds crazy, right? It sounds crazy. But there is a lot of people out there who truly believe only bad guys and police have the guns. Only cops and robbers have guns. People really believe only cops and robbers have guns. They really believe if you have a gun and you're not law enforcement, that you're a bad guy. And that's crazy. That's a crazy way of thinking. Because what about everybody else in the middle? What about all the law-abiding citizens such as myself who serve this great country, who is serving this great country as we speak? To think that only bad guys and good guys, cops, have guns, that's crazy. I don't know what rock you're living under, but that is definitely not true. There's tons and tons of law-abiding citizens who have guns, a lot of guns. A lot of guns. You know what I'm saying? And they haven't committed one crime. So get that out your head to believe that only bad guys and cops have guns. That's a crazy way to think. And if you believe that, you need to get your head checked, man. Because, hey, I'm just saying, that's not true. I don't care what you say. I don't care what you believe. That is not true. Next question. All right, so I saw a comment in a gun group a couple weeks ago. And it says, people who buy a lot of guns, or people who have guns, or people who love guns, and people who love shooting, and people who love guns, they're all potential mass shooters. They're all potential terrorists. That's crazy. So you're telling me if I like guns, or Joe Smo down the street like guns, Bobby up the block like guns, you know what I'm saying, Bob in the country like guns, you're saying that because we like guns and because we like to shoot our guns and train and whatever, you saying that we're potential mass shooters? Well, what type of craziness is that? What type of craziness is that? Like, that, it just blows my mind that some people really think like this. Like, I have to sit back and ask myself, like, is this person serious right now? This person cannot have that type of mentality. There's absolutely zero way that this person can have this mentality. There's no way. But yes, there's a lot of people who believe that. People think that if you have a lot of guns, people think that if you like guns, if you like to shoot, that you're a potential mass shooter, you're a potential terrorist. And I'm telling you, like, that's not true. That's not true, man. I've been loving guns ever since I was little. My mom probably thought I was going to be some psychopath because I always wanted to look at handgun magazines, and I always wanted to, see the, you know what I'm saying, look up what's the newest gun on the market. And I was infatuated with guns ever since I was little. But that doesn't make me a potential mass shooter. I never once thought of killing anybody for no reason. I never thought of just shooting a bunch of people. So just because I like guns, that don't mean that I'm a potential mass shooter or potential terrorist. That's crazy. I like guns because I like guns. I like guns because shooting guns is a sport. It's an activity. This is my stress relief. Shooting guns is my therapy. You know what I'm saying? Range therapy. That's my thing. That helps me cope. That helps me function. That helps me clear my head. That's my pastime. Some people like to fish. I like to shoot guns in the range. Some people like to play golf. I like to plink golf balls on the range. You know what I'm saying? Some people like to play basketball. I like to shoot basketballs in the range. So, I mean, just because I like guns and a lot of people like me like guns and we like to shoot and we like to train, that don't mean that we're training to be terrorists. That don't mean that we're training to be mass shooters. That doesn't mean we're training to terrorize the city. We're training so we can protect our families and our lives and our friends and innocent people. That's a whole nother topic, so I'm not even gonna go there. But anyways, man, I'm not gonna waste any more time. Those are the 5 myths that I've heard in 2022 that people truly believe, and we just had to have a discussion. I just want to have a discussion and debunk them and just educate people and tell you, like, no, man, if you believe that stuff, then you need to educate yourself, man. Education is power, man. Education and knowledge is power. See, this is the thing. it's easy to control a bunch of dumb people, a bunch of ignorant people. It's easy to control ignorance, but it's hard to control someone who is educated and is knowledgeable. You can't control it's harder to control someone who is educated and knowledgeable in a subject. Anyways, that's all I got to say, man. Once again, thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for subscribing. Make sure you guys like. Make sure you guys hit that notification bell. Make sure you guys share the videos. And make sure you guys check out the Sealy Strategic Merch Shop so you can get your dependable shirt design, man. This is a long sleeve. This is the crew neck long sleeve. And I'm going to tell you, man, this is good material, man. This material is really, really good. It's really thick. It's really comfortable. It's really soft. And I love it. The material is on point. We ain't playing no games with the material. We ain't got cheap material. We got nice Hanes t-shirts, but this brand is really, really good. This is a crew neck sweatshirt, and it's thick. I'm telling you, it's thick like a sweater. It's like sweater type thick. It's that good, like, you know what I'm saying? But anyways, make sure you guys like, hit the notification bell so you guys get notified. Make sure that you guys stay ready so you don't have to get ready. Be greater than you were yesterday. And remember, at Sealy Strategics, we live to train and we train to live. Staff Sergeant Sealy's out.